Hey, what is up, guys? Your boy Ed from TV. You already know. Today we're going to be doing an in-depth deck profile of my favorite deck, one of actually my top three favorite decks of all time, which is going to be ADAMANCIPATORs. This deck is a lot of fun to play. This deck is playing, I think we're playing like 44 cards in the main deck, which is not bad, but I am playing a lot of rock monsters in here, which actually has helped the consistency of the deck, and it has made sure that I honestly, I've only really whiffed one game, and this is not talking about like multiple times in the set. No, this is just one game out of, like, if you really think about it, let's say I play two games against every person, because you got a 2-0 most of the time, right? So if you're breaking one game out of like 5 rounds, and then if you do it like two rounds, which I've already done like 2 tournaments, you've honestly only really bricked like 1 out of all of those games, which is pretty good, I'm not gonna lie. This deck is super consistent. Shout out to my girlfriend for helping me figure out the consistency to this build. This deck is super smooth, and I honestly almost never really have a problem with this. I like this deck a lot. Let's go ahead and get into it. All right, guys, getting started with the deck now. Of course, in this deck, you got to play the 3 researchers. These monsters right here are probably the best ADAMANCIPATOR monster in this whole deck. This deck is always really good because it allows you to stack, and I'm going to go ahead and show you guys how to stack and how to add certain monsters. After this quick deck profile, I'm going to show you guys what you're able to add and how you're able to add it to your hand, of course. So you got the 3 analyzers starting you off. Analyzer just being so easily, researcher just being so easily special summon in this deck. It just makes it so free. After that, you got, of course, the 3 seekers. Seeker is just so good. With Seeker, it's just as long as you control an ADAMANCIPATOR monster, you activate it and you special summon it, of course. I'm going to go ahead and reveal the 3 analyzer. I don't think anybody who's ever played ADAMANCIPATORs would have expected a different ratio from this build. Of course, 3-3-3 for the tuners. It's exactly how this deck has to be played. Continuing off, I wanted to make sure that people understood that with the Researcher, you're going to go ahead and activate effect. You're going to go ahead and then reveal the top 5. Activate effect from hand to special summon it if you control a rock. With this one, you activate effect if you control an ADAMANCIPATOR, you can special it. With this one, if your opponent controls a monster and you don't, you get to activate effect, special summon it. All of these, activate effect, reveal the top 5. As long as they're level 4 or lower rock monsters that are not tuners, you can special summon any of those. That's really, really busted. For the last 2 ADAMANCIPATOR monsters that I play here, I only play the 2 Dragites. The reason being that I just think that this is just so much better than any of the other monsters that you would normally play. The green rock, the red rock, I just personally believe they're not that great, and they're definitely not monsters that I would want to see. Or if I have an opportunity where I open up this card and I have like Doki Doki, I don't mind just like discarding this off of Doki Doki, special summoning another one. It's fine. Plus, blue is my favorite color, you already know. We're gonna go ahead and continue. We got this new rock monster here, which is a hidden gem. Like, that's legit what we're calling it, because that's actually the name. You got the hidden gem right here. This guy is really, really good. If you open him up in your hand, you get to discard it, and you get to normal summon another rock monster from your hand. I'm pretty sure I said another type, but nobody cares. We're playing rocks here, guys. Besides that, if you control a water and an earth monster on the field, you can activate the effect of this guy from the graveyard to special summon him to the field. Super busted, let me tell you. Just also being the matter of fact that you can just get it into the graveyard by special summoning them off of one of these 3, of course. It's really good. You get to also stack your deck, and like, let's say if you draw that later on or whatever happens, right, you get to draw that. It's disgusting. So good, so good. Continuing with Doki Doki. This is a monster that I've always believed that has to be a 3 of. A lot of people have always told me to only play 2 of this, whatever. I don't think that's actually a really good idea, especially now that you get the extra normal summon. So you could definitely you can normal summon Guardian, have this in hand, discard that, normal summon this. Nasty. And I mean, like, of course, Guardian and this by itself, they're not great cards, but I just so happen to have I always start with more than like 3 rock monsters in my hand. It's always been like 3 or 4, and that's really, really good. So I'm gonna go ahead and show the rest of the rock monsters now. Of course, you gotta play the 3 Kawakimaru suppliers. I was gonna reveal the Guardians first, but I think supplier is good. So then like that, you guys are able to see what you're able to add off of supplier, because I am playing more Kawakimaru monsters. I wanted to say that it's really good to now activate the effect of this guy and then be able to add one of the Kawakimaru monsters from deck now, because I don't have to actually rely on wanting to reveal the Guardian from the deck anymore, because I can leave the Guardians in the deck and not have to worry about adding one of these. But the card that I normally add, or the cards that I normally add, would either be the Sandman, of course, or now I'm also playing Overload in the deck. I've played Overload before, so people who have seen my deck profile for Adamancypators before know that Overload used to be a staple in my deck. But I'm definitely playing Sandman now, because a lot of people are just relying on too many trap cards now. So Sandman's definitely pretty good. That being said, I've actually considered playing a second Sandman instead of the Overload, but I'm actually even considering just playing a second Sandman overall. Now, another card that is actually really, really good in this deck, which is the Rock Band, the Sino Guitar guy. So this guy's really good. I'm playing 2 of it for the reason being that I want to be able to stack my cards, right? So I've had situations where I'll send this to the graveyard, target this would come back to my hand. Let's say I summoned it and I didn't get to discard it right out of my hand. So I get to add that, adding that back to my hand, and then stacking my deck, putting whatever I want on top. Even works with like researchers, seeker, whatever, right? I've had the opportunity to be able to add a researcher that I didn't use, or that I had like linked away for some reason, synchro summoned, whatever, right? And then added it back to my hand, and then like just got it on the field some way, somehow, right? Or whatever the situation is just so good, because you're allowed to stack your deck and you're allowed to add monsters back to your hand, which is, it's a plus in my book. We're gonna go ahead and continue. Plague Spreader is a monster that I am playing here because I don't want to waste a tuner level 2 on a special summon of a Needle Fiber if I don't need it to. Sometimes Needle Fiber does come in clutch. I have a small little gameplay combo that I'm going to show you guys. Couple interactions that I definitely do like about this deck a lot, that I would think that maybe you guys would appreciate a lot. But this is definitely the card that you would have to go to instead of having to do like a Researcher and wasting that, right? You would rather top deck Researcher on your follow-up turn. Scythe is really good because we still Scythe lock in this deck, of course. I've been Scythe locking people with Adamancypators for such a long time. Adamancypators too good, baby, you already know. The last couple of monsters that I played here are, of course, 3 Nibiru. Nibiru just being a rock hand trap monster that you were able to play in this deck just makes it so free, so free, so free. Those are all the monsters. And then for the last 3 Ash. If you're not playing 3 Ash in your main deck, you're not playing Yu-Gi-Oh correctly right now. You desperately need to have Ashes in your main deck. I had a friend who told me that he wanted to play Ash in the side deck, and I was like, you. Ash in the main deck, baby. If you don't need it, you side it out. But you don't need it. You don't need it, trust me. We're gonna go ahead and continue. Like I said, I played 44 cards in this main deck. 3 of the best spell in like all of Yu-Gi-Oh right now. This is not a once per turn monster reborn. I've opened up 2 of these. I opened up like a Seeker and a Researcher. Oh god, that was like the nuttiest combo I've ever done in my life. Like, it was so good. 3 of those, delicious. We're gonna go ahead and continue with the next 3 best cards in the deck right now. 3 Dark Ruler. You see all those boards that people are putting up right now? You can't go second. You're playing 3 Nibs, you're playing 3 Dark Rulers. I'd rather just destroy your board by negating it, and then setting up my board, getting rid of all your stuff, and then just asking you to have fun. You know, hey, can you have fun? You know, Triple T's are really, really good. I'm actually considering playing a 3rd one, but I don't want to up the deck count on this. 44 is already pushing it a little bit for me, in my personal opinion, with this deck specifically, but 44 is still fine enough. Callby being your last card in this deck, of course. Callby's just really good. Callby's like really, really good. I wish Callby was back at 3, but you know how it is. But that's your main deck. We're gonna go ahead and check out the side deck. Your extra deck. The side deck doesn't really matter too much. I do have one card in the side right now that you guys are gonna go ahead and side in depending on according to your matches, of course. And I do side that card in a lot. But we're gonna go extra deck and then the one card on my extra deck that is a part of my side deck. Okay. Almirage is still really good. I am not playing Parallel Exceed anymore. I used to play Parallel Exceed, but with me removing Exceed, this kind of lost its hemp a little bit, but it's fine. It's still really good. IP Masquerena, such a good card, of course. Dagda, because we got a Scythe Lock. Now, Sprite Elf is a really new addition to the deck. I've been playing the deck for like maybe a week or two now, and it's just so good. Like, this is literally one of the funnest decks that I've rebuilt. Like, you guys know I like to play Tri-Brigade, Dinos, Adamancipator, or some of like the 3 decks that I play the most now. All really good depending on the meta that I play, but all really fun to play. Continuing, you got to play the Needle Fiber. I'm going to show you guys how to get into one of the monsters that you haven't used yet, which can be any one of your level 2 rock tuner monsters, right? Unicorn from the Needle Fiber. So if you have a specific build, because like I have moments where I can end on these 3 with this in the graveyard, and then I'll revive this, set the Scythe Lock, of course, and then I would also then make my Baron afterwards. But then I'll have these 3 left on the field, and then sometimes I'll just go Appaloosa for 2 or Appaloosa for 3, depending on the situation, of course. Access code to be able to OTK. People told me don't play access code. People were wrong. It's that plain and simple. People are wrong. Appaloosa for 3, of course. Appaloosa for 4. You can make Appaloosa for, like, if you were able to make Appaloosa for 6, you'd probably be able to make Appaloosa for 6 here. This is just a deck that just spews out a lot of monsters, and it's a really strong deck. Those are all the Link monsters, of course. We're going to go ahead and continue with the Synchro monsters. You got TG Wonder to be able to pop the Scythe. You got this to draw a card. I think that it's really important to have an extra level 6 besides your 1 Raptite, because Raptite is cool and all, but then I've found moments and opportunities where I have a 4 and then a 2 and I can't do anything else. This is great. It doesn't just allow me to draw, but then it allows me to get into another Synchro monster, so then I can Synchro even more. If you're playing a Raptite, you're definitely playing your Dragite. Dragite now being even better because it also means that you would have another water on the field besides your Needle Fiber, of course, because Needle Fiber can be linked away now. You being able to have another water on the field means that you're, of course, going to have an earth on the field, which means now you can special back your hidden gem from the graveyard like nobody's business. I still play Savage because Savage is good. And I'm a good duelist, and Savage is good. And then you have your Baron, and of course your Gallon Granite. I'm not playing Zeus in this deck. People are telling me to play Zeus. I don't like it. People also told me to add like the Frog Engine, and I appreciate all types of criticism that comes my way. I would like to hear your personal opinion on how I build my deck, because I'm probably going to hear it either way. But I like how this deck is running. It's super smooth. It's very consistent. And now we're going to go ahead and start doing a couple of test hands. I'm going to show you guys some small little niche interactions. Of course, I'll do one combo test hand, and we'll get into it. Let's go. By the way, forgot to say, Abyss Dweller. Abyss Dweller is the last card that you have to play for your extra deck. Abyss Dweller is not good in every meta match that you have right now, but it is definitely very good against a lot of the meta matches that you're going to be having. Tier Elements definitely being one of those. So if you want to get good, you want to be good, you're going to have to play Abyss Dweller. I cite it because the one card that I take out every now and then is this. This is going to depend if I'm going to go first or second. But I do like having the access to the Abyss Dweller because Gallon Granite is good and all, but sometimes I don't make it enough because this deck is so freaking good now. So yeah. All right, guys. So just a couple of like the little niche interactions that I found. Doki Doki is nice. This guy is definitely nice. And then honestly, let's just say you have the water one. So normal summon effect, this card, you have to special summon out the other one because that's what they're asking you for off of Doki Doki, right? But let's say you discard, you're able to normal summon again, so now you have a second normal summon for this turn. And not just that, but then you can just still special summon this back and then do whatever you want. Of course, this isn't the best example, but just letting you know that if this was to be a setup that you had throughout your turns and interactions, of course, that would be really good. what I want to do is that I'm going to show you guys a couple more things that I've learned recently. Let's say you have a regular non-tuner, right, whatever, and then you have a tuner. So let's say this is all you started off with, whatever. This was one of the monsters that you revealed off your top 4. One of the things that you guys are going to be able to do now is that, of course, you're going to be able to needle fiber and special summon out the level 2 that you haven't used yet. So let me bring this up just slightly. You're going to be able to bring out the level 2 that you haven't used. So Researcher being one that you used. Now you're going to be able to bring back your Seeker. And yeah, Seeker does have its effects negated because of needle fiber. But now you're able to just link these away for your brand new Elf. Elf, of course, effect, special summoning this, and then you reveal off of that, and then boom, you continue going off with your combo. That honestly just makes the deck so much better. There used to be a lot of interactions where like I didn't know how I was able to make another 2 4s to then go to Gallant Granite and then search any rock monster that you're missing. You don't have to do that. And now the thing is that you can't use Elf for the link summoning of another monster, so it can't be used for link material the turn that it was summoned, which is perfectly fine. You just use the effect of him to bring this back, and then on your opponent's turn, you use the effect of Elf and bring that back again. And then, of course, if you have the Dagda, you tag out, you go Wonder Magician, of course, you pop your Scythe effect, and then you bring out a Baron, of course. And then you have the Dagda this, and then, of course, you want to point that there directly, of course. This deck is a lot of gas. I'm going to go ahead and do a couple of test hands. I'm going to shuffle now. And let's just try to do the best that we can with this deck. This deck is a lot of fun. And hopefully you guys are enjoying this so far. Let's do some test hands. Alright guys, so I would like for you guys to understand that this deck it's going to be super reliant on what you reveal. If you do not reveal something good, if you just start whiffing and then you reveal like the spells or Ash and then like Nibiru, of course, you're going to have a tough time. The end board that I normally like to end on, and this is where I would like to get to right now, would definitely be the Elf with the Needle Fiber Engrave, and then of course the Dagda on the field. That's super easy to do. That's super low expectation. I always have that. Plus, I would have at least like maybe a Dragite on the field, maybe IP on the field too. I don't know. But that's kind of like what the end board that I normally like to have with this. So let's go ahead and try our best to get there, okay? So I feel like I've shuffled the deck multiple times. We're gonna go ahead and just do a couple of good cuts. Some good shuffles again. Nice cut. Boom. Okay. This is actually not bad. You have 2 go second cards, which now means that you don't need to open up the you don't need to make the Dagda anymore, which is actually really good because you can just go for IP. And then this is in case you went second, right? Of course, knowing that we went first, you have this. This is a great hand. This is a great start. You're gonna go ahead and go just straight up normal summon this. I'm gonna save this to see if I would draw something better later on, or see if I add something later on to my hand that is better. Supplier, I normally like to special summon it. I'm not gonna waste it for a normal, so we're gonna go ahead and then go effect 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, of course. So now we have a supplier here, we have a researcher here. So one of the cool things about this is that you can go researcher, you can go make Elf here, and then effect of Elf, special back researcher, and then you can try to do other shenanigans, right? In this situation here, I am more inclined to special summon out my Guardian, since I already have access to the Guardian, of course, and then just put this straight back to the bottom of my deck. So now let's try to play around with this a little bit. For supplier to work, this is a face-up monster that I control is sent to the graveyard. Face-up rock, right? So I have to be able to either link this or do whatever I need to do to get rid of this, right? So something super simple. Of course, you go Needle Fiber Chainlink 1, Supplier Chainlink 2. Supplier will then separately activate separate. So then you do this. Boom, boom. The reason why I like to do Seeker here instead of, can you guys see that? Seeker instead of Researcher is because Researcher, no matter what, if I end up having one later in my hand, I I can just special summon it a lot easier than the Seeker, of course. You're going to use the effect of Supplier, and then this is where you can discard this to special this out, whatever you need to do, right? So you'd use the effect to add this. So now you go ahead and discard. You're allowed to normal summon again, of course. I don't expect for you to get nibbed, so don't rely on getting nibbed too much. Elf, of course. Elf, actually. Effect. There you go. Now this. This will get banished when it leaves the field, but it's fine. Effect of Elf, special this back. So now you only have the 2 cards in your hand that you don't really need. You've done this, you've normal summoned again, you discarded this, you brought this back, so you're chilling. You did that while you had a water and while you had an earth anyway, and then you linked these away for that. Use effect, you brought the back the Seeker. There you go. Seeker effect, you're gonna reveal 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got overload. Nice. You see how I haven't whiffed? It's still pretty good. We're still chilling. I think here, if you really want to, just kind of like, you know, just kind of do something, right? You get to add the Researcher here, which is perfectly fine. Let's see, Researcher. So like I said, you don't need Dagda anymore, but what you can do is that you can make an IP Masquerena, and then, of course, good old Hidden Gem will get banished. IP Masquerena. I can go Researcher effect. Ooh, I kind of wanted a level 4. Nice. Ooh, this is good because this allows me to put back this to then be able to add one of these rocks from the grave to my hand, which means that I can keep a rock so I can keep Guardian on the field. That's really good. Let's go ahead and Synchro there. Synchro. Now, you want to use the effect of Rock Band. As soon as that happens, you're going to go ahead and go Rock Band. You can literally target whatever you want. Supplier is a really good bring back. And then you can put that back on top of your deck. Awesome. Effect. You would just reveal anything. Nice. So this is always really, really good. In this situation, I think I want to make an 8 here. And then I would be able to make Dagda there. Is that what I want to do? I think that's perfectly fine. I think that's definitely something that I would want to do. So then you can make Dagda here first. Well, I'm sorry. That would have to be special trait. Dagda there first. Synchro this. Okay, so this is what we got going on so far. You have the Dragite to spell negate. You have this to bring back, of course, your Needle Fiber, because this doesn't need a sound to point to. So you can just bring back your Needle Fiber. You have this to be able to set the Artifact Scythe. You have this to make Appaloosa, or whatever you want to make. And then that monster would not be able to be destroyed by card effects, which is always really good. You can also just go Unicorn and bounce your stuff back. But don't forget that if you have a rock that leaves the field, you can special this and then effect of that to search, and then you just have more protection, because then you can just special summon in defense for whatever reason you need. Really good. This is really good. Now let me show you guys the interaction on how this works so you guys can see it actually step by step. Let's say your opponent activates any one card, right? Let's say they activate Rhoda. I'm going to go for a super easy example. You're going to go ahead and chain Dagda. If your opponent allows that, you're going to go ahead and chain Elf to special summon out that bad boy right there, of course. You're going to summon it. You're going to set this. Unrest, you banish, you activate, you special. Effect to pop this. Effect to special this. Effect. Synchro. And then you can do that. Or if somewhere in that chain you wanted to make Appaloosa and you wanted to end up here, you can too. That's also a thing. This is really nutty. This is really good. Spell negate, Omni negate, 2 monsters, effect negates, and then these can be targeted. Disgusting. Sure, that's exactly how this deck works. Let's do one last test hand. Alright guys, so we're going to go ahead and continue with these test hands. I think this deck is gas. I would like to see if we can end up on an Abyss Dweller. Let's say you go on a game 2. but you know you're gonna go first because, like, let's say whatever, for whatever reason you got Dark Ruler or something, right? Everybody's playing in Dark Ruler right now. Cool. Pretty good hand. So this is the hand, and I like it because it doesn't have any real starters in its opening hand, right? So the first thing you got to do is just normal summon that Doki Doki and pray to God that they don't hit you. We're going to go ahead and discard that Guardian, and we're going to go ahead and special summon Analyzer. For sure, Analyzer, because Analyzer is going to be the monster that's going to allow you to overextend from here, or continue extending, of course. Analyzer. Okay, pretty good. Okay, so here I think I do want to go for I think I'm going for Supplier here, for the reason being that Supplier effect, you add Overload, whatever, you get those out of the way. You revealed a bunch of monsters that normally would be monsters that you would add to your hand off of the Supplier anyway, so let's just do this real quick. So I'm going to show you the Gallon Granite way, of course. This is definitely not something that I really do much. Gallon Granite, we're going to add Researcher. So we've used Analyzer. We have not used Researcher or Seeker yet. So Researcher to special, Researcher to reveal. I like this card a lot. Ooh, that's actually really good. But you know what? Effect to draw. Okay, cool. Not bad. Doki Doki. We haven't even used. Actually, we have, but let's go ahead and do this. Ooh, I'm going to leave that there because that's a good way to get into a 6. And I actually like that a lot. Effect. Bring out. Seeker. Where's your bad boy Seeker at? Sometimes I've thought about like leaving the needle fiber there so I don't have to waste it to bring it back. But it's fine if you get rid of it, honestly. It's really not bad. Because you kind of want the elf to be able to point at stuff. Oh, we almost whiffed there. Oh my god. I have not whiffed. I don't know if you guys have been keeping track, but I have actually not whiffed at all whatsoever, which is so good. At least Sandman there, just in case, like, Imperm or whatever. I feel like if they had Imperm, they would have been Impermed you already. Ooh. So good. Okay, I definitely believe that in this situation, I think I'm going to go for the Seeker because, I'm going to go for the Seeker because you want to make a level 8 Seeker monster. So, honestly, these don't really matter. They're kind of just fodders, if I'm completely honest. I actually make Dragite a lot. I think Dragite's really good. For the people who didn't know this interaction, Dragite's really good because when you activate the effect, if your opponent does not chain with something, then whatever you reveal afterwards, you're bouncing cards on field. You're not giving them another opportunity to be like, would you like to chain? None of that. It's just, I have revealed 3, you've already said okay, time to bounce, you can't chain. Well, I didn't know. Should have read the card, buddy. Honestly, that's happened to me a lot, and sometimes I stress that my opponent reads the card before I activate, or when I activate the card effect. It's super important. But this card is busted, honestly. And then it negates the Spell and Trap. You already have like this engrave, this engrave. I used to only have like the little water one in the grave, so they used to DD Crow it before. But now having the needle fiber in the grave too, it doesn't like even like just target. No, it just, if you have a water engrave, negates Spell and Trap. That's it. Which is really good. You still have this in hand for follow-up. Funny, right? Scythe Lock, Spell and Trap negate, and then you're gonna make a Baron afterwards. I'm telling you guys, this is literally how this game goes with this. We're gonna talk about some small interactions. Hopefully you guys have enjoyed this. This is literally the last test hand that I wanted to do. For the people who don't know how this card works, I want to explain it real quick. Let's do that card versus or with incompatibility with this, right? This is really good. So let's say You activate, you want to reborn this, you reborn that, you stack your deck automatically. You also don't wait for a response anymore. And then let's say you want to stack that, or Seeker, or whatever. That goes straight on top. Effect. Draw a card. That's how that works. It's really nice, really nutty, effect, special, and then of course you reveal whatever you're gonna go ahead and reveal. So good. This deck is so good. I'm really enjoying these interactions. I think the deck is doing really well. Just the matter of fact that I'm able to scythe lock people with this is so good. The ability to be able to Abyss Dweller people. I think I said I wanted Abyss Dweller people here with this one, but it doesn't even matter. Like this deck literally has so many ways to do so many different things, and you can choose from there. There's many different routes if you want to go more synchro way, if you want to go more link way. I definitely really enjoy the link way a lot, so I definitely have, what is this, 4 and 4, that's 8 link monsters. Then I have 6 synchros, 2 exceeds, this one being a part of the side deck, of course. And then this is your 15. This is whatever you splash in later. Links just definitely help you out a lot. You can't get debarriered, so I had some people debarrier me and cause synchro, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's cool, buddy. I'm just gonna go ahead and like set up a bunch of stuff with this and exactly. Thank you guys all for watching. This was a lot of fun to make. I definitely like the in-depth way of how to play Emancipators. Hopefully you guys all enjoy. There's a lot of different things here that I play very differently from other people, but that being said, thank you guys for watching my deck profile, and I'll see you guys